Welcome back here to Lutherans Alive. We continue to be talking with Pastor Carolyn Mendis. Carolyn, you began to say a few words about one of the places in which you serve, and that is the St. John's Specialty Care Center in Mars. Perhaps if you'd like to say a little more about that, and also about where you serve at Christ Lutheran Church Millville with your husband George as well.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoy both places so much. St. John's, I've been serving, as I said, from the beginning of 2004. My mother died there. She was a resident there. She was in the Alzheimer's program. She died in April of '74. So I was able to be with her for a while on site there, be able to stop in and say hello to her. But there are so many people there in so many different circumstances, and I really enjoy being able to make contact with them and give them communion and laugh with them and sing with them. And so many of them are in condition very similar to what my mother was, which was severe Alzheimer's by then. And it feels as though I'm able to have that closeness with my mother through my ministry with them as it continues there. I really do enjoy it a lot. It's tiring, though, to be in two places and running back and forth, and I'm starting to feel my age. Christ Lutheran in Millvale is a wonderful parish. We've been there for 21 years now, and we talk about how difficult it's going to be to retire. You know, I mean, how difficult it's going to be able to say goodbye to these people that we have come so close to, and how the dynamic of pulling away from that ministry is going to affect us. And we talk about that a lot. And we do anticipate that we will be retiring some years, you know, from now, whenever the nest egg allows us to consider doing that. But that church has a heritage of wonderful worship, I think, great worship, great music, and for the size of the church, you know, and a wonderful ministry that focuses on the neighborhood. Years ago, I was at a National Assembly of the ELCA where the, Urban Ministries group had a slogan, "In the City for Good," I think they called it, and that attached itself to my brain. I said, that's our slogan as our church offers its ministry to the neighborhood, in the neighborhood for good. And we have really had a wonderful neighborhood ministry. It's wonderful to have a neighborhood where you can leave the church, walk out of the church, and walk down in the town and see people whom you know, and stop at the restaurant and have a cup of coffee or some soup, and people see you and know you, where you can be a part of a neighborhood like that. I enjoy that a lot more than I enjoyed being in my internship out in the middle of nowhere, East Swamp Road, where all I could visit was the cows, and by walking the cows. Mm-hmm. But I had to drive everywhere else. But it's nice not to have to drive everywhere in Millvale. You know, we can serve the community there. And we had the big flood hit in 2004. That was quite a year, 2004, when George, my husband, really took on a second unpaid job as Millvale Assistance Team leader, getting volunteers to come in and help clean up after our flooding there. And then we had some flooding a couple years later. So it's sometimes been a challenge. We have a food cupboard there. We work closely with North Hills Community Outreach, which has a satellite there in Millvale. They started out as a satellite in our congregation, in our church building. I don't know how they managed it in this tiny little space that was available for them. But we feel a real attachment to the community there, and a real sense of pride that the church has always been. Before we came, they had that food cupboard there. They've always felt that a big part of what they were there for was the neighborhood and the community.
In the community for good,
yeah.
In the city for good. That's wonderful. And a lot of good things happening there in Millvale. And we thank you so much for being able to to share that with us today about your ministry and about your journey, Carolyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on Lutherans Alive today. And we hope that you have the opportunity to visit us, especially if you don't have a church home of your own. Most likely there is a Lutheran church somewhere in or near your community. We hope you will visit with us. Until next time, I'm Pastor Tony Schneck, and thank you very much for being with us. God bless you. See you next time on Lutherans Alive.